You with me, ladies and gents? The homework? Mm-hmm. You will. This is due Friday. All right, so here it is, okay? This is the way the question is going to go. They're going to say, is some point, okay? And I'm going to give you each individual point, but they're going to say, is some point a solution to y equals 4x, okay? So I'm going to give you a point, and you tell me, is it a solution? Just like on the quiz, where some of you decided not to tell me if something was a solution. Okay, so let's say I give you the point 310, okay? I'm saying, is the point 310 a solution to y equals 4x, okay? So first thing you need to think about is, what is 310? What is 3? What is 10? What are they representing right now? X and y, okay? So your 3 is which one? The x or the y? The 3 is the x. So the 10 is the y. Okay, so if I have the equation y equals 4x, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop those numbers in for y and x and test it out. So y is 10 equals 4 times, and then my x is 3. So I end up with 10 equals what? 12, okay? Does 10 equal 12? No, 10 does not equal 12. So is it a solution? No. Your answer would be no, because it doesn't work out in that equation. All right, how about if I give you 520. Okay, so now we have the point 520, same equation. I have y equals 4x. Which one is my x value? The 5 is my x value, right? This is x, this is y. So if I plug those in, what's my new equation going to look like with numbers plugged in? 20 equals 4 times my x value is 5. So I get 20 equals 20. Is that a solution to that equation? Yes, your answer would be yes there. That is a solution. So if they come out equal, it is a solution, okay? How about if I give you the point 12.8? Okay, is that a solution to y equals 4x? What's your new equation going to look like? 8 equals, what did I do? I switched my equation, but I didn't write it down. I don't know. Okay, so 8 equals 4 times 12. You plug it in, you get 8 does not equal 48, so your answer would be no, it's not a solution. Okay, let's say our equation was y equals x plus 7 instead. Okay, so new equation. Is this a solution? Is 4,1 a solution to y equals x plus 7? No. When you plug it in, which one's your x? 4. X is 4, y is 1. So when I plug that in, I get y equals x, which is 4, plus 7. Well, when I solve that, I get 1 equals 11, which it does not. So is that a solution? That would be no. Okay. How about, is the point 512 a solution? to this same equation, that first, or that second equation we were talking about. Is that a solution? That one is, right? You would say 12 equals 5 plus 7. Okay, so you're just dropping in an x value and a y value. That gives you 12 equals 12, which checks out. So we would say, yes, that is a solution. Okay, any questions on those? Okay, just make sure your first number is your x, your second number is your y. You're just dropping it in, telling me, is it a solution or not? Okay? Yeah, Leon. The 4-1? Yeah. Okay. Got it? Okay. Example 2. This one is a little more of a process to get through. It's going to look like a word problem. It is a word problem. But you're going to have to do a chart, an equation, and a graph for it. Okay? Sounds horrible, I know. It's not horrible. It'll be a piece of cake. If you want graph paper, it's up here, or you can do graphs in Notability. I don't care. But if you want to borrow my graph paper, there is graph paper up there. I'll give you a sec. If you want to go grab a piece, go grab a piece. Actually, while you do that, I'm going to write the problem out, and then you can start writing. Here's what it says. Kim was born 2 years before Carrie. Use an equation, graph, and chart to represent the relationship. Okay, Kim was born 2 years before Carrie. Use an equation, a graph, and a chart to represent the relationship. Now, for some of you, the equation's going to be simple. Like, oh yeah, I got this equation. For some of you, the chart is going to be an easier place to start. I wouldn't think the graph is the easiest place to start, but maybe for some of you, it is the easiest place to start. So you have options, a chart, or an equation, or a graph, but all three of them need to happen, okay? I feel like in my brain, it makes most sense to start with the chart. If that's not you, you may start somewhere else, okay? But I'm gonna show you how I would process this, how I would go through it and set it up. First of all, we know we're talking about Kim, so I'm gonna call her K, and we know we're talking about Carrie, so I'm gonna call her C, okay, so that we keep straight who is who. And then here's what I need you to think about before you set up your chart. It says Kim was born 2 years before Carrie. So who's older? Kim is older, okay, which means her number of years is going to be higher. So I'm gonna make Carrie my X and Kim my Y on my chart. It's not wrong if you do it the other way. I just think it will make more sense in the end, okay? So this is gonna be Carrie, she's my X value, and this is gonna be Kim, she's my Y value. Okay, so let's think about their ages, okay? We said Kim was born 2 years before Carrie. So if Kim is 3 years old, let's say, and I'm just picking a random number, okay? If Kim is 3, how old is Carrie right now?
1.
She's 1, right? She's 2 years younger. She was born 2 years later. than Kim. Okay, so if Carrie's 1, Kim is 3. What if Carrie's 2? How old is Kim? She was born 2 years later, right? Kim was born 2 years before Carrie. So they're 2 years apart all the time. So that means if Carrie's 2, Kim is 4. So if Carrie's 3, how old is Kim?
5.
She's 5. If Carrie's 4, how old is Kim? She's 6, okay? That information should help you come up with an equation if you haven't already. Now, if you wanted to start with the equation, that's totally fine too, and I'll show you how you could have done that differently than for your chart. Can anyone tell me an equation using K and C? So we would say K equals what? Plus 2, right? Kim equals Carrie plus 2. So the equation they're looking for is this. Now, if you start there, if you want to find that equation first, because it says she was born 2 years before Carrie, you come up with the equation. Then if you want to make your chart from that, you would just say, okay, well, if I plug in a 1, 1 plus 2 is 3. If I plug in a 2, 2 plus 2 is 4. So you can do it in either order. Do you see that? That is up to you, okay? Okay, so that's your equation and your chart. Now you need to graph it. And we said Carrie is gonna be our X and Kim is gonna be our Y. And I'm fine if you want to just freehand graph this as long as you try to make your spacing true. Okay, so we're gonna say this is Carrie on the bottom. Make sure when you're graphing things that you always label what is what, okay? So Carrie is down here. Kim is over here. What would you count by? I wouldn't count by 2s. I would count by 1s, right? Because we have pretty low numbers. So I would just count by 1. So space them out as evenly as you can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're gonna set this up. We said when Carrie is 1, Kim is 3. That means our point is 1, 3, right? So I'm gonna go over 1 on Carrie, up 3 on Kim. That should get you a point right there. Okay? Okay, here's the only thing though. Your graph won't keep going that direction. Do you know why? Right, but for this situation, we'll get there in just a second. Okay, your next point, 2, 4. So 2 to the right for Carrie, up 4 for Kim. Okay, then 3, 5. 3 to the right for Carrie, up 5 for Kim, and then 4, 6, over 4, up 6. Here's your graph, okay? Now, think for me, does it make sense to draw a line in here? It does. Why? Do you know why it makes sense?
Because the dots are like
Not because the dots are in a line, because sometimes the dots are in a line and it doesn't make sense to draw a line in. But think about their ages. Are you only ever exactly 2 or exactly 3 or exactly 4? No, you're 2 in a day, 2 in 2 days, 2 in 3 days, right? So anywhere on this graph will work for our graph. So you can draw the line in. Here's what I was just saying to Zion though. Does it make sense for your graph to go this way? Why not? Your age is never negative, right? You're never going to go a -1, a -2 on an age. So you don't want to go any further to the left or down below you don't want to go past either axis, okay? So this would be your graph, and that is your answer. So this is a chart, a graph, and an equation, okay? Those are the 3 things that you should be coming up with on this type of problem. Let's do one more. Excited about that? Yeah? What? You need a friend? Did you say tienes amigo? What did you say?
I need some
You need some what?
milk.
Milk? Oh my. Okay. Here it is. Will runs 6 laps before Megan joins him. Then they run together. Beyond that, okay? So once he runs his 6th lap, then Megan joins him and they run together. I'm not going to write that part down. The question is, what is the relationship between Will and Megan's laps? Okay, so same thing. I want an equation, a chart, and a graph. Okay, so let's try this the other way, since I showed you the way that I prefer it first, but some of you might prefer the equation first. So let's try and find the equation first. Okay, so first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you define your variables. So what are we talking about? What are our variables here? Will and Megan, okay? So we're going to call W Will. We're going to call M Megan. Really deep, right? Can you tell me what our equation would be? W equals M plus 6. So it says Will runs 6 laps before Megan joins him, right? So Megan has to add 6 laps before she gets to Will's number. So Megan plus 6 will equal Will. So your equation will be W equals Megan plus 6, okay? So if you think of it in terms of X and Y, it would look something like this. Y equals X plus 6. So X is going to be our Megan, and Y is going to be our Will. And now you can make a chart from that. Okay, so let's say Megan ran 0 laps. How many laps has Will run? 6. Right? You're just plugging 0 plus 6 equals, 0 plus 6 equals 6. Okay, what if Megan ran 1 lap?
7.
Then it's 7. So 1, plus 7, plus 6 equals 7. If it's 2 laps, 2 plus 6 equals 8. If it's 3 laps, 9, and so on and so forth. Okay? All right, let's lay out our graph. Are we going to go into any other quadrants? No, because you can't run negative laps, right? You run positive number of laps. So we're going to set up our graph. What? You may do it on there if you want. But if you do it on there, just only do it in that first quadrant, the top right side. Okay, so if this is my setup, where is Megan? On the bottom. She's our X. Okay, and then Will be on the side here. Thank you. It just says your parents need to call in to excuse your absence, that's all. Okay, so if you number this, again, The numbers are pretty low. I would probably still just count by ones. You may count by twos if your graph doesn't fit counting by ones. But I would prefer just to count by ones. I think it makes more sense. I feel like when people count by twos, sometimes they get a little off track. It doesn't always go as well. So we're going to count by ones here, okay? So on the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you want to put the numbers in, it's not a terrible idea just to keep you in the right spot. And then Will has to go up how high? We got to go at least to 9 because that's what we're going to chart here. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Again, if you want to number them along the way, that's great. If you want to just number your top one just so I can tell what you counted by, that's fine too. So we're going to plot these, okay? 0, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is going to put me right here, okay? Then you'll do 1, 7. So 1 on your X, 7 on your Y. We'll put you about there. 2, 8 will put you about here. And then 3, 9 will put you right there. Can we draw a line in? You can, because you can run a half a lap, right? You can run a quarter of a lap. Kind of missed my last one there. So something like that, okay? Any questions on that? Okay, the last thing we're gonna do, just because we're doing some graphing stuff, this is just a refresher for you. Can you tell me which quadrant is which?
1.
Which one's 1? Top right is 1. So this is quadrant 1. Which one's 2? To the left of that, right? So it goes counterclockwise. That one's 2. Which one's 3? Right below that is 3. And then this one is 4. Okay, so those are the quadrants. And then I just want to see that you know how to plot points fairly simply. So if I give you the point 3, -1, where do I move first? 3 to the right and 1 down, right? So 1, 2, 3 to the right, 1 down would give you that point. That is 3, -1, okay? Where is the point -5, 2? To the left 5. You always do your X first, okay? To the left 5, up 2 would be about there, okay? Are you all clear on how to plot those points where you move? So this is always going to go left and right. This is always going to go up and down. So for instance, a negative will go left, a positive will go up 2. A positive 3 will go right, a -1 will go down, okay? So if they're both positive, what quadrant are you going to be in? You're going to be in quadrant 1, right? If both your numbers are positive. What if both your numbers are negative? What quadrant are you going to be in? In quadrant 3. This would be a negative and a negative, okay? This would be negative, positive, and this would be positive, negative, okay? Any questions on any of that?